Well, good morning, Cam.
Hello. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I survived the great snowpocalypse of the last week, so
I feel like we get one of those a year, at least.
it was awful. I'm surprised my back is holding together the way it is. But yeah, it's been snowy. It's blowy right now. It's blowing the snow everywhere. So I went out at 6:30 this morning and cleaned up the driveway and the sidewalk and got that all cleared up. And I'll tell you, I've got spots that I've got waist deep snow from the drifting and stuff, and that's not fun. That's not fun at all.
No.
So
it's pretty.
Yep. And now it's going to get cold. So
Yes.
I think you and I are
cold for us northern folk.
right.
Absolutely frigid for everybody else. We're talking wind chills of like -30. Like,
Right.
We've gone past cold to just stupid is what it's going to be the next couple days.
Well, we have a saying up here in Wisconsin that it's not cold until it hurts. So I have on many occasions walked outside and it feels like somebody was scraping sandpaper across my face because that's just the way the wind feels when it's that cold. So
yeah, my rule is it's not officially cold until my mustache freezes from like breathing. You know, the condensation freezes my mustache. That's when I know it's there. Officially cold. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
but we're going to be well past that the next couple of days.
Start getting it in the beard a little bit, and you know, and that's under the face protection. Like that's not even that's just trying to keep the wind off your face. So
yeah, I need to find a scarf.
You know, I got a new scarf for Christmas, and I'm really happy with it.
I discovered. So this is our second winter storm.
Yeah.
In the last week. And I discovered the first one, I didn't know where my winter gloves were, and I also don't have a shovel. So I solved those two problems the other day before the second wave came. But now I'm realizing I don't know where my scarf is, and I'm going to need that tomorrow when I'm outside in the -30-degree wind chill, trying to go to church at 6:15 in the morning. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah. So much fun. My pastor just sent me a picture. I'll save it and send it over to you of one town's solution to the snow. It is they've got a bunch of cars going back and forth on the road, and there's a big AT-AT from Star Wars walking the big Imperial Walker walking down the snow or walking down the street. That's hilarious. So make sure that gets saved into my. But then I'll send it to you right away. But probably have to put this in the show notes too, since we've mentioned it on the show. So
I was gonna say that seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Speaking.
Well, I had to go to work yesterday on all that snow, and so because I was the only one scheduled in my department. So, and my department doesn't run when nobody's there. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna brave the weather. I'm going to get there. I have a Jeep. I have 4-wheel drive. I figured, you know what? I can get there. And I got there just fine, and I got home just fine. So, you know, praise God for that. But man, I'll tell you, it was not fun. It was not fun at all. And I was thanking God the whole way for 4-wheel drive because I don't think I could have done it any other way. So
yeah, well, my car does not have 4-wheel drive. And Tuesday was the first winter storm.
Yeah.
It was also the kids' first day back in school. And they should have canceled school.
All right.
But they didn't. Because when it was go home time, it was an absolute blizzard outside. It took me 40 minutes to make a 15-minute drive. And I drive a rear-wheel drive sedan with lots of torque and horsepower. So it's not ideal in that sort of weather.
For those of you that live in warmer climates that haven't had to deal with this before, rear-wheel drive is about the worst in snow because you fishtail. Your car just kind of does whatever it wants to do, and front-wheel drive is better. because you're
But
pulling
four-wheel
instead
drive
of
is the
pushing.
best.
Four-wheel drive is the best. And it made a huge difference yesterday.
Yeah, so you just have to be like really gentle, especially, I mean,
Mhm.
because like my car is, 250, 300 horsepower and has a lot of torque.
Mhm.
And so I just have to be it's the starting that's hard. That's when I fishtail the most.
Yeah.
Once I get going, it's fine. And then turning, obviously, you have to go very slowly. But
Yeah.
was just
Or you
nuts.
can, if you're in a situation where you're comfortable, you can fishtail on purpose and have some fun.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. But there was too many cars. There was too many cars on the road
Yeah.
because everyone was trying to get home from school, right?
Yep.
And it was absolutely a mess. I was so angry that they didn't cancel school that day. It's just because it was just dangerous. It's just unsafe.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of kids that ride buses. It was stupid.
The new thing up here in Wisconsin is ever since COVID is that the kids do home or stay home and do virtual learning. Yeah. So I know I have my partner back in the receiving department, the lady that I work with. She her kids were all virtual on Tuesday and on Wednesday when we got the two big snowstorms, and we were joking. Of course, in receiving, you have to be there to do your job, but we were joking that we were going to work virtual, so get paid for not being there. But that didn't work out. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got to talk about something that happened since our last show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have to? Do we really? I'm not.
I think we do. Yeah. It'll become pretty obvious, and I'm sticking here. So the Vision Pro has a release date.
Yeah.
It took me 2 weeks to get a point.
You don't have to be so happy about it. You know.
I saw the news,
you're
and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Benevolent being the key phrase, not gloating.
Okay. Can I feel bad for you? Would that balance things out? Oh, I'm sorry,
no, I
buddy.
don't want your pity either.
I'm sorry.
I'm just being dumb because you got a point and I got one wrong, so it's doubly.
We're not subtracting points, are we?
No, but I still get the big old goose egg, which never feels good.
Well, I was we were talking about this before we started recording, and I was like, I could actually have like a 3-point swing here, or 3 points within the next week, because my Buck Wild pick is that the Packers and Lions will get knocked out before the NFC Championship game, and they both play this weekend, and they both got tough games this weekend.
Who are the Packers playing?
Packers got the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
So that could be a tough game.
Well, it could be really high scoring too. Because if Jordan Love is on, the Packers offense is pretty good.
Yeah. But you're also up against our former coach, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Not that he knows anything about this team, but yeah. So that
is a good storyline.
That is a good through line for the game today or tomorrow.
And the Lions have the Rams in Detroit, and Matthew Stafford is the Rams quarterback. And Jared, we traded Stafford for Goff, and a couple of picks. And of course, LA went on and got their Super Bowl Stafford, and we were all happy for him because he finally was able to apply his talents on a good team. But now we have to boo the guy that we cheered for 10 years, and it's the only reason we were half decent the 3 times we were is because of him. and
the Chargers are on fire right now. So
the Rams, yeah.
I'm sorry, the Rams are on fire. LA, they're both in LA, right? I'm not an idiot for saying that. So okay.
Yeah. No,
they're
both in LA,
and their colors are almost identical too, which
it's light blue and yellow versus normal blue and yellow. Yeah. And they're really stretching the color palette options there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been a really good team.
Yeah, way to go, LA.
But here's my stance on it. Michigan won the national championship. The Lions could lose 49-0, and I won't care. This is all just bonus football right now. I want them to win, obviously, but I'm not going to be upset if they lose. We won the NFC North. That was the GM and the coach stated by year 3 we need to be competing for the division, and we won the division in year 3. So the goals that they set, we're exactly where we're supposed to be. If we lose the game, we lose the game, right? There's only good football teams left. Now it would be nice to win a playoff game for the first time in forever, and to do it at home would be nice. But again, if they lose, like, great season, Michigan won the national freaking championship. Like, I'm a happy man.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No, I'm excited for you, man. That Michigan won. So very good. But we just blew right past the big news. So let's get back to that for a second. So Apple Vision Pro will be available for pre-order on the 19th. So that is next Friday, correct? And at 5 a.m. Pacific. And will be available starting February 2nd. Now, I don't know what it means that it's going to be available for pre-order, because everything that I've heard is that you've got to go into the store to actually get fitted for it and stuff, because there's lots of options, and you've got to get if you have glasses, you've got to get your prescriptions handled and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not something that you can just order online and get shipped to your home. Like, there's a lot of fiddly stuff that they've got to do. But it will be available on February 2nd, and that's all I needed for my pick. So now that we've been very nice. So now that we've been sitting on this Vision Pro stuff, and we haven't talked about it in a while, how are you feeling about it? Now let's both agree the price is obnoxious. But $3,499 United States dollars. It's absurd. It's more than that, because there are. I really haven't looked at this yet, but all the talk that I've heard over the last few days, there are. Oh gosh, they do that stupid thing with that scroll jacking stuff on this page, so I can't just scroll down and find my information. Ugh. But anyway, it seems to me that they were going to have different storage tiers. I think there were 3 different storage tiers for it. The lenses, if you need prescription lenses, are going to start at $99. And I think $99 if you need readers, and $150 if you need farsight correction. I forget what all the details were. And because this site is dumb, I can't get to anything that tells me anything. So it sure is doing a heck of a job selling it to me, but it's not giving me the information that I'm looking for. But at any rate, so there are going to be other tiers. I have not seen anybody could try to configure it yet, and I'm not sure if you even can. Yeah, doesn't seem to be any kind of configuration options on their website right now. But as far as the options that they have, $34.99 is like base model, 256 gigs, no eye correction. Although they are coming with the over-the-head strap. That was one thing that came out. So you've got the back of the head strap and the overhead strap for stability. So you get both of the straps with it. And
oh boy,
the top strap is removable. So if you don't want the top strap, you don't have to use it. And it wasn't really designed to use the top strap, but I think they got a lot of feedback when they had people using it around WWDC that it kind of needed that top strap. So, but this is going to be an interesting year to see, with the Vision Pro, how everything rolls out. Like, what are we going to have for apps? What are we going to have for, how is productivity going to work on this? Is it going to be something that people are going to use? Because there's been a lot of question about that. So, but yeah. Oh, would this be something that you would be excited about if you, if it was more reasonably priced?
No, I think it's a really dumb thing. I think it looks silly, especially like when like the eyes, like your face shows up on the outside of it. It looks freaky, and their whole thing is like, Oh, if someone else walks in the room, they'll look at your face, and if someone else is in the room, take the darn thing off your face and talk to them like a human. Like, why would you have a conversation with a person physically present with that thing still on your face?
I agree.
It's silly.
Mm-hmm. I think when you go to the if you just go to apple.com right now, the Vision Pro, of course, is the big, big headliner on the page. Why? Like, it looks terrible. It's almost like the thing that late night TV show jokes are made of. I can't come up with enough jokes right now but it doesn't look good. You want to think, oh, those are actually her eyes, but they're not actually her eyes. Those are like a composite image of what, like almost like a Mid-Journey style composite image of what her eyes should look like. And it's weird.
Yeah, and I don't get the whole like productivity angle with it either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to be looking at my Excel spreadsheets on a headset.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to reserve my judgment on this until we see how people are using it and what people are saying about the experience, because right now there are people out there that are using like the MetaQuest Pro and the MetaQuest 3 for doing productivity. The people that are doing it really like it because they can have like 3 huge screens in front of them and be working and just have to move their head to look at the different screens like you would in normal life, but you don't need physical screens to do it. And there was a guy they were talking about on one of the podcasts that I listened to this last week that literally does that and does that in public. Like if he's got to ride the train to wherever he's going, or if he's traveling or whatever, like he'll throw on the MetaQuest and just sit and do video editing and stuff like that right in the MetaQuest. And he doesn't have to bring his whole office with him because his office is in the MetaQuest. So,
yeah, nothing like just being totally blind in public. No thanks.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see like how that works with flying, because that was one of the use cases that was brought up. Like if you're flying, you could actually put the Vision Pro on and watch movies and, just be totally checked out to what's going on around you.
I'm not so sure I like that idea either, but
yeah.
I mean, I do have the MetaQuest too.
Yeah.
But it is 90% use case is Beat Saber.
Yeah.
That is, and then like 10% like my kid will like go on like a zip line through the Costa Rican jungle, or, fun stuff, or I ride a roller coaster or go skydiving, watching the 360 videos of that sort of stuff. But yeah, and I realize the Quest 2 is not the 3 or the Pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is not my cup of tea for anything remotely related to productivity. But maybe I'm just being an old man and being grumpy about it.
So let's say 10 years from now. Now I'm that puts me at 67. So let's say me 10 years from now, because I'm not sure at 67 I'm going to care about this stuff.
You're not 57.
I'm sorry, 57. I'm 47.
Thank you.
So
you're 47.
Math, it's hard.
Tossing a decade down there.
So 20 years from now. No. So when I'm 57, I'm not sure how much I'm going to care about some of this stuff. So let's say my current self, if I was thinking about this 10 years from now, I would want the glasses I have on with at least a subset of the features that the Vision Pro has. Maybe it's not going to be quite all the features that they offer. But to have transparent lenses that I could pull up, I could have some persistent information in. I could have maybe like I have my phone out and I just got the keyboard on the phone and I've got something in my field of view that I can interact with, or it's just something like that. I'm not sure how exactly that would look at this point, but I could definitely see that being cool. And I think the Vision Pro is really like the first step I think Apple is taking in that future, because I know that they have talked about, or at least it's been rumored that within the company they've talked about offering like regular glasses that have these features, and that this is kind of the first step in that direction. So if they offered something like that and it was, well, it's not going to be reasonably priced. Let's just throw that out the window. But let's say they made it affordable for you. How does that change your perception?
I will say this. I am not the audience for this type of product.
Okay.
Even what you mentioned. I don't want stuff on my glasses. I don't want, turn right here, or you got a text message, or, I want to be bothered less. I want the technology. And so this has been like a 2-year journey for me, is locking my phone down, having less notifications. Like I want to use it when I'm using it to its fullest extent, and have, I love the power. I love the connectivity when I want it to be connected to stuff, the ability that I can use my phone or my iPad or my machine to do really cool stuff. But then when I'm done, just go away. And I choose when I use you, and you don't get to interrupt me when I don't want you to.
Okay.
That's been my, journey. Sounds like it's such a ridiculous word to use. That because it makes it sound like it's some, like important, but like my relationship with my technology over the last 2 years, I have pared it down. And like, I need it to do my job. I need it to edit my photos and my videos, and I need it to communicate with friends. But I want to use it when I want to use it. And then I want it to go away when I'm reading or hanging out with friends or, doing other things. And yeah, so the glass is kind of like, technologically, is it cool? Yeah. Am I excited about the new technology or the way that they're shaping technology to have this sort of stuff be available? Yeah. But I'm also like, we're creating a sci-fi world in reality where, it's just noise. And it's just, like I think of like, oh my gosh, what was the movie Blade Runner, right? And like the new one that just came out a couple years ago, right? It's like just ads everywhere, and everything is just built in, and it's like, oh my god, that sounds terrifying.
I think they explored
I don't
that.
want to live in that world.
I think they explored that in other shows too. Like, I want to say iRobot had something like that too, where
or even like Minority Report, like all of those sorts of,
like you walk into the mall and right away all the billboards are see you, and they're advertising to you,
interacting, or like the Altered Carbon on Netflix, like all of those like dark sci-fi, futuristic sort of stuff. It's like, I do not want to live in a world like that.
Yeah. And I think
if that means I have to like go move into a cabin in the woods in 20 years to avoid that, then I'm probably going to do it.
And I don't think that you and I are that far off on that, to be perfectly honest. As much as I love technology, I agree with you. It gets in our way. And I like to be surrounded by technology that works for me. I don't like to surround myself with technology that I have to work for. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, in my in what's delighting me today, we'll talk about something that I got out of Christmas money this year that I absolutely love because it's technology that works for me. You know, we've talked about other things that I have that just they make my quality of life just that much more pleasant. But what doesn't make my quality of life pleasant is over this last week we talked about the weather earlier, and getting a notification every frickin' half hour telling me that it's snowing outside. You know, which is something that Carrot was doing until I got grumpy about it and turned it off.
Yeah, you turn off your critical weather alerts too, because at like 3 a.m, it's just like, and it's that air raid siren, not like, you know, if the Russians are coming.
So I have that silenced, but I
had to because it woke me and my kid up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, so
it ignores your do not disturb, it ignores your mute, and it tells you that. I'm like, I know there's 6 inches of snow. I know, like, don't wake me up. I was so pissed.
But as far as like the precipitation warnings, you know, there's only one thing that does for me. It makes me anxious. And I acknowledged that on Tuesday when it was snowing, that every time I got a notification on my watch, it reminded me, oh, hey, remember you have to worry about that again. And it just makes me anxious and makes just degrades my quality of life. So I turned it off because I don't need to know. I can look outside and see that it's raining, or I can look outside and see that it's snowing. I don't need you to tell me that, hey, snow's going to start in 15 minutes. And it's time to start worrying. You know, I don't need that. Yeah. I am keyed in enough about the weather that I don't need you to tell me that all the time. Now, if there is a winter weather warning that I need to know about, I'm kind of okay with you know, interrupting my life to say, hey, this is something that you need to be concerned with. Or if there's a tornado warning or a thunderstorm warning or something like that. Although I would argue that doesn't really improve my quality of life, it is something that I do need to be aware of because it could degrade my quality of life not to know about it. So, or degrade my life altogether. But, well, as a Christian, that's not true, but you get my point. But there's just something where there's a balance that has to be struck with how invasive technology is into our lives. And I think, you know, getting back to the Vision Pro, it's all about how you use it and what you use it for, you know, and for $3,500, I think, like, it's not for me either. You know, I don't have a use case for this device. You know, if they were to come out with a cheaper version of this, and understand this is a leisure purchase for me, this is not a work purchase. You know, so what I want it for is I would love to sit and watch movies in it. You know, got a 3D movie, got a good immersive experience that's designed around a movie that I really like. If I could go to Edinburgh, Scotland, and just tour the city virtually in it, or go to Disney World virtually through it, or something like that, those are use cases that I would use. But it's not worth $3,500 to me.
I'd say for $3,500, you can go to Edinburgh.
Right.
Quite easily.
Well, it might end up being It might end up being a little bit more than that, but you know, I get your point. So, but it's one of those things where if this came down in price enough over the next few years, and realize that they're recouping a lot of R&D stuff, they're recouping a lot of costs. This thing does not cost $3,500 to make. I mean, it's probably not far off of that, but they've got to make a profit here too. And Apple loves its margins. You know, let's not be stupid about it. They love their margins, so they're going to make their money on this. But there's also the idea that they've got to make money on this to because they spent a lot of money on this. You know, developing it and designing it and all the prototypes and all this stuff that's not free. So we're paying for that right now. In 5 years from now, when they come out with the Vision Air or they're just the Vision, and it doesn't have the stupid screen on the front of it, and it's cut down a lot of the, you know, maybe it's got less cameras. Maybe I don't know that they would ever degrade the quality of the screens on the inside, but maybe they would keep the screens now, and the screens that they have now would be cheaper for them to get later, because now the Pro has much better screens. Maybe they go 8K with it in 5 years, and it's much higher resolution. But they have a device that's $1,000, $1,500, something like that. That starts to get more tempting, But we have to understand how we would use it and if it'd be worth the money to spend on it. So, on one of I think it was Upgrade this last week, there was a question from the audience that, and I'm kind of interested to know. Well, I think I already know what you think about this, but the guy said, "Hey, I've got an old plasma TV. It's not working the way it used to be, so I'm looking at either buying a new TV or buying the Vision Pro to replace my TV. I live alone. I don't watch TV with anybody else. To me, like, it would be nice to have that nice immersive experience and all this kind of stuff." And they were pretty clear about what they thought of this. First off, how would you? I'm pretty sure I know how you would respond to this, but
you can get a really, really nice TV for way less than $3,500.
Absolutely,
really nice. You could get a really nice TV and Sonos surround sound for less than $3,500.
Yeah, you're right.
You know how I know that? Because I have a nice TV and Sonos surround sound, and I spent way less than $3,500 for it.
I mean, even if you
awesome, it sounds so good.
Yeah, I would love to do Sonos in the house, but yeah. I'm not going to spend that much on that right now. But yeah, so, and the way
that's my response.
Yeah. And I have the same response, because right now I think this version of the Vision Pro is still, in my mind, kind of a beta. Like, we don't know anything about this. This was kind of like buying the first Apple Watch.
That is exactly what I was about to say. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't know what that was when they put it out there. They had a very broad view. Basically, I think they approached it as, here's an Apple Watch, or I'm sorry, a iPhone on your wrist. And
at least they didn't have the audacity this time to make a gold version and sell it for $10,000 of a beta product.
Somebody's not at Apple anymore that may have made that decision. So,
I mean, people bought it, so good on them, I guess. For
you can get.
Appealing to the vanity of rich people, right?
Yeah, I think you can get them on eBay now for the price of the gold. At least they're not worth much more than that. But anyway,
well, do they even work anymore?
I don't think so.
I was going to say, there's no way they have the juice to support modern watchOS.
Yeah. But at any rate, it'd be one of those things where you'd buy it because you just wanted it. It's not to use it.
Yeah.
Just to say, hey, I have a gold Apple Watch. There's somebody out there that cares. So.
Oh yeah, I know there are. And that's their thing, and that's okay. Like, no judgment from me. I'm just saying, me, never.
Yeah. A little bit. I'm just going to say a little bit of judgment from me.
But like, people get to make their own choices,
Yeah. But anyway, so I think this falls into what I don't know that I have a good term for this, but like the third version rule, because it seems like it takes Apple that long to get what this device is about. And it's because we dictate what the device is about, because otherwise people aren't going to buy it, so I think in 3 to 4 years here, definitely within the 5-year time span, that a lot of people are talking about, Apple's dedicated to doing this for about the next 5 years, depending on how sales go. And if sales don't go well and they find out that it's a bust product, that's probably when they'll abandon it. So when we're looking at a 5-year window for this, I think by then we'll have figured out what it is. and why people use it and how people use it, that it'll make sense going forward. What like if we want to spend the money on that, and what this money is going to look like for that. Because right now it looks like buying a Mac Pro to somebody who uses a MacBook Air.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a lot of nothing, a lot of something you don't need. So, assuming that this year they're going to update the MacBook Pro to be something better than the Mac Studio. But
yeah, there is that.
All right.
I guess, like, one last thought on this, right? Like, we have all become, you know, through COVID pandemic, you know, a lot of people were isolated, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people dealt with mental health issues from that isolation, right? Depression, anxiety, loneliness, which all suck.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrible. And one of the things that Apple keeps promoting is how their technology connects people. And I don't buy it with this one.
Yeah.
Like, literally, they have someone, I brought it before and I'll bring it up again. They have someone sitting in a room, their kid walks in, they leave this on their face.
Mm-hmm.
They have one where the dad is wearing it with his kids playing and is take the darn thing off, just be present with people. You know what I mean? Like, we all need, Mitch and I believe this because, you know, we believe what the Bible says is true about how we were created. We were built with relationship and personal connection as a foundational part of what it means to be human.
Right.
And technology has great advantages. But one of the reasons I mentioned earlier about me trying to pair my notifications and interactions is, like, I just want to be, especially when I'm with other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be present. I want to have, you know, deep conversations and deep connection and all that sort of stuff. And technology can just get in the way. Now, does technology allow me and Mitch to do the show and see each other's faces? Yeah. It sure does. And that's really nice. But we could also record this over a phone call. You know what I mean? Like, so technology can provide a sort of connection when long distances are involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, at the same time, if you're with people, just be with people. Take the darn thing off your face. Like, it bothered me so much.
Well, I think that they're going to find out that people aren't going to use it that way.
Yeah.
You know,
I hope not.
Yeah, because right now I can record spatial video with my phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the 15 and the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, you can record spatial video with your phone. So you don't need to have a big clunky thing on your face to record spatial video.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it on to watch it, and I'm sure it's really cool, but you need it to watch it. Let's put it that way. But
right, I'm done on my soapbox. I'm stepping down.
But you don't need it on your face to do that kind of stuff. And I think I think what we're going to see happen with the Vision Pro is that you're going to see less cameras over the next 5 years. You're going to see a paring down of not the quality of the product, but the need to have super high quality stuff in the product. I don't think we're going to see that screen on the front of it probably within the next 3 years. I'm not going to put a bet on that.
That would cut down a ton of the cost.
It would, yeah. It would probably almost cut it, maybe almost in half. Just because that screen, it's a curved screen, and that
one piece of laminated glass, yeah.
Yep, and that's pricey. So we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful that 5 years from now, we will look at this and be like, you know what? Yeah, that was a dumb product, but look at what it's come from it, and look at the cool ecosystem that's been built out of it. And I think it's got promise, but there's a huge gap here. There's a huge thing to be afraid of. Is this going to be a Newton or is it going to be an iPhone? You know, and I think that's what it comes down to. Is this going to be an embarrassment for the company, or is this going to be something that's going to revolutionize a field that you could argue doesn't need to be revolutionized, but is this going to change the world, or is it going to just be a toy?
Well, we know Tim Cook's drinking the Kool-Aid on this product.
Yeah. 100%.
So hard.
And he's using it. From all reports, he's using it on a daily basis. So, and he loves it. And everybody that's used it says it's amazing. I love it. It's great. I've over this last week, there's been some talk, and I think Jason Snell said this the most. He's like, it's like it reads my mind, because it knows where my eyes are pointed. It knows, and it just like, it does the stuff that you want it to do when you want to do it. And it's almost like it's reading your mind while you're doing it. And it's because of the technology. It's not because it has, weird powers. But it's just your eyes can tell stuff a lot about what your intentions are and what you want. So, but
all right,
I'm going to give it a few years. I'm certainly not going to buy one anytime soon, but I am interested to see what this looks like in 5 years, and if this becomes a product that we want in our house, or if it just fizzles out and becomes some kind of niche product that people don't care about, or most people don't care about. I mean, the HoloLens really set the world on fire, so. But it also is a Microsoft product and not an Apple product, so the world looks at those differently. So.
Yeah, I suppose time will tell then, huh?
Yep. So
as it always does.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, are you ready for what's delighting us today?
Yeah, but you have to go first.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and. All right. So what's delighting me today? I'm so used to saying, what's delighting you today, Cam? So what's delighting me today is that I'm a huge fan of Ember mugs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a hole in my mug game that I have been that I have been wanting to fill for a long time. And this winter, I had the money for it, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So,
oh boy, I feel like we need a drum roll.
I got the Ember Travel Mug 2.
Ooh.
So. This thing, what makes this different from the regular Ember mugs is that it is a travel mug, so it comes with a nice leak-proof lid. It's actually it feels really high quality, and it feels really nice. I have it upstairs on the charger, so I don't have it down here with me right now. But I have the box, which is what I just showed Cam, but you can set the temperature right on the front of the mug. So you don't necessarily need to go into the Ember app to do that, which all the Ember mugs, all the other Ember mugs, you've had to go into the app and say, this is the temperature that I want my coffee at, or want my warm beverage at. With the travel mug, you can set that stuff right on the device itself. It lets you kind of tap through to see the battery level and that sort of stuff. So you can see if it's reached its temperature, if it's where it's at as far as temperature goes. That's all available right on the front of the mug. And you do still want to go into the app and set up and say, hey, I want my coffee at 140 degrees, which is where I have my coffee in the travel mug. Now, the one thing that I'm glad that it has, that it boasts 3-hour battery life. I will tell you that I get 90 minutes to 2 hours of battery life out of it typically. But the one gap is if you're traveling with this, the mug doesn't. An hour and a half isn't that long. Hour and a half to 2 hours isn't really that long for someone like me who sits and likes to sip on their coffee. And, it may take me, an hour and a half to drink that whole thing just because I'm not, pounding it. It is nice that it allows me to turn it off so it's not all the time, so that if I do finish my coffee and I got about half a battery left, I can turn it off and put it back in my console, or I can put it down and then come back to it later and turn it back on if I want to drink another beverage. But I went ahead. I've been waiting for them to come back into stock, but they have a travel charger for it that actually fits right into your cup holder in your car, plugs into the cigarette lighter, and you can just set it right in there while you're traveling. So there is a solution to the problem, but it is another $50 to solve it. So actually, I paid $50. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that charger, they don't have them in stock on their website, at least the last time I checked. But I want to say it's probably more like $69 to buy it new from Ember. Amazon had them available. I don't know if they still do, but they had them available for sale for like just about $50. So I didn't even hesitate. I just snapped it up because I don't think this mug, I don't think you can do it with you. If you have the opportunity, if you're listening to this and they have the mug and the charger available in a bundle, which they do on their website, when the charger is available, you got to buy them together, because if you're doing any kind of driving, throughout the day, and you want that capability, you've got to have that travel charger. So that's what's delighting me today. It's also a pro tip for anybody who wants this device. So, and it is obnoxiously expensive, but it's one of those things that it's pretty much like I have 3 beverage containers right now that I use all the time that all give me what I want. None of them were cheap, but they're all what I use every day. So, for me to spend the money on that, it's not like I'm wasting it on a toy. It's something that I use every day. And this really this is what I was talking about before, having technology that works for me, instead of me having to work for it. So, and it's such a joy to pick up the coffee out of the coffee holder an hour after I made it, and it's actually like at the perfect temperature. It's enjoyable, and it's just good. These Ember mugs make having warm beverages in the morning just that much nicer.
And for $399.95 USD, you can get the Ember baby bottle system as well.
Yeah, I saw that on there too. That must be something new that they have.
$100.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
All right.
But neither one of us have babies, so.
Yeah, and I had one. She's now 7. So she's officially.
I was going to say, it'd be a little weird if she's still drinking out of baby bottles. So.
No, but guess what we didn't need?
Yeah.
Self-warming baby bottles. Anyways.
Yep. But it's been a nice quality of life improvement for me to have the mug that I have, and now have the travel mug. So, all right, what's delighting you today, Cam?
I think today I'm just gonna pick playing guitar at church.
Yeah.
At the last church I was at when I was before I moved, I played probably 3 out of 4 weeks, but I was usually playing bass, because we had an abundance of guitar players and only one other person that would play bass. So I saw the need, I moved over, and playing bass was fun. I had a really good time. I got to learn the instrument better. I got a lot better over the course of, those couple of years, and got really comfortable with it. It got to the point where I could sing and play at the same time, without screwing either one up. But that meant that I wasn't playing guitar, which is my main instrument, and then one that I've been playing for somehow 22 years at this point, which I don't know how that's possible. But having moved and therefore needing to find a new church, I was able to, find a great church that I love and is really, really good for me and full of awesome people that love Jesus. And so that in of itself is great. But then getting plugged in with the band, and I play twice a month, and I get to play my electric guitar every those 2 Sundays, and I really, really, really enjoy it. And it's it's my happy place is playing music with other people, and then adding on top of the fact that the music we're playing is worship music and not just like being on a cover band is fun, but serving in the context of worship is like that's the top for me. Like that's hearing the church sing, knowing that we as the band, our job isn't to, look good or impress people. We call it undistracting excellence. We want to be so good that people don't even, they're just able to focus.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be so good and distracting, like, oh, sick guitar solo, bro, or so bad that we want to be in that middle lane where we're there to serve the congregation, and we do it well enough that they never even have to think about, oh, this sounds off, or someone played a wrong. Like, we want to be undistracting and serve them in that way. And so it's just really enjoyable. And I have to be there at 6:45 on the Sundays that I do play, and it's a 25-minute drive. So like it is an early morning. We have 2 services, so I leave the house at like 6:15, and I'm not home until 12:15 or 12:30. Like, it is a chunk of time to do, and it requires me to get up way earlier than I do any other week. But I do it because I love it, and it's fun, and I believe God has given me certain talents, and it's my way to use those, to serve the church and Him in that way. And it makes me happy. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And playing music with other people is one of the coolest things that you can do. It's just fun. The back and forth and just the nonverbal, like, oh, we're going to, and just being able to craft something with other people is just, I get great enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
So
it's been a long time since I've been able to do it, but I agree. That's a lot of fun.
Well, you're usually in the sound booth. That's why.
Yeah. Well, what I'm doing is running the live stream. So
yeah,
but it goes along the same lines, but at the same time, I've played in worship bands before, and it's fun. It's when you're in the groove and everybody's having fun, it's good. So
indeed,
yeah.
So I get to do that tomorrow.
Sweet.
And even though it's going to be ridiculously cold.
Well, hopefully the church is heated, so you should be.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying,
getting back and forth from the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
Will be definitely frozen mustache weather for sure.
You just got to make sure you warm up the car before you get it good and warm, and then so you don't have a remote start.
No, I don't. No, but I have remote ventilation.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We've talked about that before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just vents the car with the air that's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
It's not useful in the winter. It's certainly not useful in the summer. And in the fall and spring when it's nice, it doesn't do any good because the car's not like anyways. It's a silly thing to be annoyed with.
I love my remote start. I use it all the time in the winter. So
well, I'm happy for you.
Ever mention I can do it from my phone?
No, but that makes sense.
That is a game changer, by the way, because when I leave work at night and it's cold outside, like I'm getting ready to punch out, I go into the Jeep app and I tap on the remote start button. I have to put in my code because it doesn't want just anybody to remote start it. But I put in my code, and within 15-20 seconds later, it sends me a notification. Your car started, because it uses a cellular network to do it. So it bounces up and pings back down to my car and starts my car, and then pings back a response to tell me that the car is started. So, and then when I get out to the car, I think I've mentioned this on the show before. Got a little jazz playing on the radio. It's nice and warm. The heated seats are warmed up. The steering wheel's warmed up. And sometimes I bring a cup of coffee with me, and it's just pleasant. It's good. So it's really nice on those face-hurting days. So, all right. Well, I think we can wrap it up then. Do you have anything else you want to add today?
Nope.
All righty. Well, if you are looking for more information on us, or if you want to look at our back catalog, or if you just want to peruse the show notes because maybe your app doesn't support the show notes, I don't know, most of them do, you can check out innerdialogue.show. And if you would like to check out more of what I do, check out mitchcraig.online. And Cam, where can people find you?
CamBrennan.com.
Indeed. All right, well, sir, stay warm out there, and we'll see you back here in a couple weeks.
All righty.
All right. Later.
See ya.